What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome back to the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports podcast. That is the FILA, or also known as the FILA Sports podcast. Two hometown guys talking hometown sports. It's your boy Coach Mario and my co-host Don. What's going on this evening, man?
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Glad y'all can join us again. This Sunday we're gonna talk about some Bulldogs football. All right. And we brought a special guest on to talk about it. So y'all already know we getting close. We are getting close to football season. All right. I know everybody happy. I know y'all see me, I'm smiling right now too. So yes. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when our videos drop. You can watch them live and join the hometown crew, the hometown supporters in the live chat. All right. Also, share this video, share our content with other Atlanta sports fanatics. Also, if you're watching this video at a later time, please hit us up in the comment section and we'll write you back as soon as we get a chance. And also hit that like button. As always,
Come out.
it's your hometown sports podcast. All right. We have a special guest on, Eric from Don and the Dog. He gonna go ahead and introduce it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Eric, and go ahead and plug the information.
Um, like you said, I'm Eric Taylor from Donald the Dog. You can subscribe to me on Twitter at 120 Eric, at I20 Eric, my bad.
All right.
All right, man. And we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna run down the week in Atlanta sports before we jump into this Bulldogs talk. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we do that, Don, where can they find us at?
Y'all already know. Y'all can find us on Twitter at FILA_SP. That's on Twitter. Facebook, you can find us at FILA Sports Podcast. The link's in the description. Also, you can also follow us on Instagram at Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. So we everywhere on social media. Also, you can also hear our shows on Google Podcast and on Spotify. Everything's up to date. So all of our old shows from episode one all the way to the previous episode that we had streamed last Monday, I believe. Everything's up there. All right. So this is episode 23. So make sure you follow us back. You follow us, we'll follow you right back. So
All right, and this week in Atlanta sports, we'll start with the our Atlanta Dream, Atlanta Nightmares, maybe what we should call them. Wednesday, we dropped the game Wednesday to Chicago, 77-76.
I would lose by 1 point. Come on now, y'all. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man.
You think we should be losing by 20?
I rather look. I don't like losing, but you already know we've been horrible all season long, and like I'm look. I ain't watched the game, but when I got the ESPN and the Google alerts on my phone, and I looked at it, it said we lost the game by 1.77 to 76. I'm saying like I would have been better off just losing the game by 10 points.
And today what did I land off? Okay, we played Connecticut on what was that, Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
And we dropped that one 98-69. And today we took on Washington and we dropped that one 93-65. So our Atlanta Dream, last year we were in the Eastern Conference Finals. This year we are at the bottom of the Eastern Conference.
Sad, man.
Yeah.
Sad.
What DC United been doing, Don?
DC United. I mean, Atlanta United. All right. So this what happened.
I said that I'm tripping because we played DC today, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at it. Yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah. Anyway, Atlanta
Well,
United,
what did DC United do today, Don?
they lost, but we
Good.
also played another game earlier this week on Wednesday. We played Houston Dynamo, and we won that game 5-0. And today we played DC United. We won that game 2-0. Peter Martinez, he made a goal today. I know a lot of people, he gets slandered a lot by some of the people in the fan base. So I'm glad he pretty much did his thing today, and hopefully he can improve on that. Also, Barco and Bello, they resumed training with the team this week because they was out, I guess, playing for other clubs throughout the world. So they're back training with the team. We also acquired Mo Adams from Chicago Fire for 100 grand, and Berkshire, he's out for the season with the torn ACL, so he's undergoing surgery. I guess last week, or he's gonna do it this week. So that's a huge blow. That's why we brought in Mo Adams to replace Burke. Also, some other news: team will wear a gold kick in 2020. I don't think they are replacing the peach kit, but I think they're just going to add another kit, like a gold kit. It looks nice. It looks nice. I'm not really big on white kits because I like the stripes, but
I
that may
I
look
like
like a kit I may end up buying.
I like. I'm sorry, I'm giggling. You got to look at the chat when you get a chance. I like the shirts they wore today over the kit when they were walking out the tunnel. The little shirts. Did you notice today?
Yeah, I
If you
noticed.
get if you get a chance, go back. I want one of those. Man, I want one of those. I actually thought they were playing in those, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, "What is that?" I was like, "That's a new." But I want that. The little overshirt they wore today. I want that. I want that.
Oh yeah, those things do look nice. I think they
Yeah,
sell them at Atlantic Station. You can get one of those.
yeah. I want
Sure.
that. Oh, I definitely want that. I like that.
Yeah, some stuff you got to get from the store because some stuff they do not sell on Fanatics or Fans Edge. So
Yeah.
just pulling it out there to you guys.
Okay.
All
And
right.
that brings us to
Oh, let me, man, Mike, don't come in here talking all that noise, man. All right, like don't come in here talking all that noise. See, I ain't even brought up Michigan at all tonight. I'm trying to keep it straight UGA for the hometown fans. All right. But that's all I'm gonna say on far as Michigan goes, man. I'm not trying to bring them up. I'm not trying to troll anything. We talking UGA tonight. Anyway, all right. Falcons. This week we already know training camp officially starts tomorrow. Some of the rookies are reported this past Thursday. Players they already reported earlier this afternoon. Um, we know about the Grady Jarrett contract. We talked about that Monday on one of our shows. And Wednesday, Deion Jones, our heart of our defense, signed the $57 million extension with $34, 34 not $34, 34 mil guaranteed. 34 mil guaranteed. So I'm excited about this resign because for the past several months now I've been saying, hey, we need to go ahead and get Deion Jones taken care of before 2019 season because I already know he gonna ball because he missed half the season last year, and he's gonna come out and he gonna play with a lot of passion, and he's gonna have another Pro Bowl season this year. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm projecting it. He's gonna have another Pro Bowl season. And I'm glad we got him taken care of before that because his price would have been up way up more. So I think that's he did really take a hometown discount, but hey, he got paid. He's excited about it, and I'm excited about it too because that also saves some room for us re-signing Austin Hooper. I know Julio Jones hasn't been extended yet, but I'm pretty sure news is going to get leaked somewhere in the near future about that. So, and also we'll be out there for training camp this Saturday, so you can see us with our bucket hats on. I don't know if we're gonna have our FILA Sports podcast shirts or not, but you'll see us on Saturday. So
um in Hawks news, we signed a free agent. I guess we thought we'd be bigger players than free agent, but it looks like we're being selected. We signed Jabari Parker, power forward, expected to come in and back up John Collins. He's fine with coming off the bench role. He said this himself. Jabari Parker, former number two pick in the draft, has battled some injury problems, but averaged around 15 points and 16 rebounds last year. I'm sorry, 6 rebounds last year. An offensive guy, not much known for his defense, but hopefully he can come in and provide consistent scoring on the second unit. Um, uh, that, like I said, that's a long free agent signing. We made some moves and trades, but that is a long free agent signing right now.
That's a great pick. That's a great pickup though. Like for a backup, I know a lot of people upset about it. Oh, he's not coming in to start. He's coming in to back up. He's a bench player. So
Definitely. And a quote himself. He said he was fine with coming off the bench. He knows that's his role. So these are his own words. So he's good on that. What's going on with our Braves, Don? Look like we put another one on the scoreboard since we started this podcast.
great. All right. It wasn't a good week for Braves this week.
Yeah.
Monday we won 4-2 against Milwaukee. Tuesday, I don't know what happened. I guess they put something out. They had to put some of our food up there in Milwaukee that on Tuesday night because we lost 13-1, and Wednesday we lost again 5-4. Thursday we came home, lost another one against the division rival sorry rivalry against the Nationals 13-4. Friday, we won 4-3. That was a crazy game to the end. Walk off home run. Also, yesterday we lost 5-3, and today we're in progress. The game, we're winning the game, 3 runs to zip. Um, what inning were you in currently?
We're in the bottom of the six.
Bottom of the six. So hopefully the pitching can hold on to the fact inning, and hopefully we can keep the national scoreless throughout the game. So
Yeah.
also in there in Ciarte, he came off of injury. The IR, he's going to be a backup in the lineup. I think he's playing today because he made a great catch earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
he's been in center field since
yeah,
he's come back. He's been in center field, and Acuna Ronald went back to left.
yeah, yeah. I think that'll be good for our defense. Max Free, he was placed on 10-day in the injured list, and Kyle Wright, he was called up from AAA because we need another pitcher in the rotation since Max is going to be out for a week or so. So also Georgia Tech, we're not talking about Georgia Tech tonight, but Fan Day is set for August 3rd at Bobby Dodd Stadium, so it's free for all fans. So if you are a Tech fan that's listening to this episode, go ahead and support your school, your alumni, or your favorite football team. August 3rd, Bobby Dodd Stadium. It's going to be Fan Day, so go ahead and head out there.
And that brings us to our topic for tonight. Those Georgia Bulldogs, and while you're on it, I believe that Georgia's fan day is the same day. If I'm not, I'll check it out for y'all. But before we get into some Georgia talk, let's just acknowledge the people in the chat. We already said what's going on, Mad Mike. Thanks for joining us. Jonathan Folsky, appreciate you joining us tonight, John. John said this is going to be a big year for the Dogs. We got to get this chip this year so we can potentially lose Fromm and this is Hot Rods last year. You must have seen our notes, Jonathan. You know we can talk about it now. Man Mike said, "Yes, sir. I want to see Fromm progression as a quarterback. Prove me wrong." Man Mike, what's your thoughts on Fromm? Prove you wrong. How do you feel about it? And that Georgia boy checking in 100. Appreciate you, that Georgia boy, always supporting us every weekend. Man Mike says in the chat, blah blah blah. No one cares about Tech. Hey, that is, I mean, let's be real. Even though Tech is in the heart of Atlanta, I'm sorry, when it comes fan wise, the preferred team in the state is Georgia Bulldogs. And I'm sorry, a Tech fan, if you don't realize that, you're just being unrealistic. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. I'm saying that's the way it is. But we're not going to be one sided on this show. My Tech people show us love. Are y'all? Is Coach Collins? Is he stirring it up there? Because I follow Tech. I still follow. I know who's on the roster. I know the coaches. I mean, I know them personally, but I'm keeping up. So we can
Well,
certainly
your
talk
son
boys.
got you had a son. Your son tried to go. They wanted to recruit him to go to Tech too. So
Yeah,
you got ties to Tech.
yeah,
So
we've been down there several times. So we'll certainly talk some Tech football. Y'all gotta engage.
and also Coach Collins, he's bringing a good culture to Tech that hasn't been there in like ever since I've known Tech. So I think he's going to do great things. I don't know as far as winning wise go, but the culture is getting better there. So, but
He's
enough
got
of that.
Marshall Coleman and Tashard Choice on the staff, two former Tech standouts from there. So I always love when you bring guys home that drums up interest already. So, like I said, we can talk some Tech. Tech, y'all got to check in. But tonight, we talking Bulldogs. And when we're talking Bulldogs, I guess one of the first things that we will touch on is Mr. Fromm. And I want to know, Eric, what do you think? And people in the chat, what do you think the prospects of Fromm leaving this year after his third year, after his junior year?
I think that depends on what Georgia does as a team. If we win a championship, I don't see him staying here. But the only thing that I see that could keep him from leaving would be unfinished business.
So, so do you think if uh, completion percentage 66% or better, um, throws 25 plus touchdowns this year, and we don't win the SEC championship, so and or a national championship, you think he could possibly be back even with those strong numbers?
I think I wasn't thinking about one other thing first. If he had those numbers and we don't win a championship, I think the prospect of not having to go against Trevor Lawrence in the draft next year would cause him to want to leave this year also. He has actually a lot to think about because I see him as a competitor and somebody that wouldn't want to leave without a championship. But again, going against a weaker quarterback class this year than next year would actually help him when it comes to personally making more money in the draft.
I, I certainly agree with you there, and I also think uh, when is it 2020 that the new CBA is in the NFL? So
I believe
I
so.
wonder how that will affect some of these quarterbacks um, as well. I wonder, will that make them come out early? I wonder how the collective bargaining agreement. Um, I I asked the question. Go ahead, Don.
I ain't say anything.
Oh, I asked the question, but I was really interested because I really don't know. I'm on the fence what I think Fromm would do if he had a strong. I think he has a very strong year and win the national championship. He could come out. If not, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence, and I really have a two-parter about Fromm as well. And people in the chat, I like y'all to answer as well, Eric. Just assuming that he has a strong performance, and he comes out. Let's say this year. What type of round do you think Jake Fromm is looking at? What type of how high in the draft do you see Jake Fromm going?
If you go into
Personally,
2020, go ahead, Eric.
my bad. Personally, um, I would see him as a first rounder, but there's a lot of scouts that question things about him. He's not your typical quarterback that people are looking for now, because he basically to me he's that pocket passer, the very intelligent quarterback that does a lot of what he does from the pocket. He can run, but he's not what you would call a running quarterback. So a lot of what he has to do is behind the line of scrimmage as a quarterback, as a leader. He's that cerebral kind of quarterback, and it just depends on what kind of quarterback you're looking for. But like I said, I'd take him top 32 easy.
Yeah. Here's my thing. If Dwayne Haskins can get drafted in the first round, Jake Fromm can get drafted in the first round. This is going to be 2020 is his best shot to get drafted and get drafted high. Because after that, year after that, 2021, you're going to have Trevor Lawrence. You're going to have other good quarterbacks. That's going to be a good quarterback class in 2021. So if Fromm wants to get paid and go to a good team, then he's going to have to come out after this season.
Um, I Jake from anybody who watches or follow me on Twitter know I love Jake Fromm. I'm not so sure that he's viewed as a first round guy. I believe he might be a first day guy, but uh, I don't believe that he's viewed as high like that. And it's kind of be as we jump in the chat, Mike. It's something that man Mike has said that I believe there's a general consensus on. Going back to the chat, first of all, Kojak Nantek, thanks for joining us. He said, Tech who? LOL, just playing. That Georgia boy said, I didn't know Tech had fans. And man, Mike says, Fromm is an incomplete passer. Need to see him throw over the middle and actually carry the offense without the benefit of a running game. Um, I hate that that's a knock on Jake that we can run the football so well. I mean, that's a knock. And I see when he gets the game manager and he only throws the ball so many times a game. Well, I mean, you don't have to throw it just wide. That's not Kirby. You know anything about Kirby? He wants to be 60-40. So that's not saying that Jake can't throw the ball. That's what Kirby wants to do. That's the philosophy. He wants to be 60-40. So it's not that we're not asking Jake to do more. It's the nature of the offense. That's what we want to be. 60-40. If you're able to be 60-40, you're usually winning the game because if you can run the ball 60% of the time, that means you aren't playing from too far behind. So I hate that Fromm gets the knock on that. And man, Mike, I do agree that most of Jake's throws are outside, but I do believe he can hit the post and the dig. I've seen to do it. But I think it's the nature of the offense because when you think about Georgia, teams are loading up the box to stop the run. So where does that leave? That leaves one-on-one opportunities outside. So that's why we see him throw the ball outside so much. I don't think it's limitations on Jake Fromm. I think it's just UGA's offense. What you think, Eric?
I agree with a lot of what you said, especially going to the outside. Um, but to hit a little more on the game manager thing, I've also noticed that that's seen as a negative thing. When in all honesty, if you were a coach, you wouldn't want your quarterback at all, to start for you that can't manage the game for you. The quarterback is another coach on the field. So how game manager became a negative stigma makes no sense to me.
Yes.
That's what you want. You want your quarterback to manage the game.
I
And to
couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
now, to discredit Fromm because he has a good running game. I mean, we're not running back you for nothing. You're
Exactly.
not going to take Georgia's running backs away so that you can credit Fromm more. That's just what we do.
Yeah, you
And
run the ball. Yeah,
to
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because UGA, we know from running the ball, and if we going against opponents and we keep running it down their throats, like why go away from that? You know, like you're going to continue to run the ball. If you've been successful on the ground, keep doing that. On time from really need to throw if we get into third down, third and long situations or second and long
and
situations.
to piggyback on what Jonathan said, if you go back and look, some of the things that Cheney, when our former offensive coordinator, raved and Kirby has raved about Jake from the most is being able to get us in the correct play. So if my game manager against Oklahoma, against Oklahoma, one of the biggest plays we had in the game. We had a 3rd and 8, and Jake checked to the run. Jake checked to the run, and Chaney told me then. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not. He didn't tell me. Chaney made a quote then. He was saying, "I knew then that Jake had to arrive because one, it took some nuts to check to the run on 3rd and 8. It was the correct check, but you have here a freshman, a
True
freshman
freshman.
in a true freshman in the playoffs checking to the run on 3rd and 8." Which, with no problem, just like he gets it, he gets it. And so it wasn't even like the highlight that the Georgia coaches, were praising wasn't even a great throw he made. It was a check. That's part of being a quarterback, like you say, Eric, being that game manager. And if a guy's going to get me in the correct play like that, hey, I'm with it.
A lot of people, I guess, saying that Jake would be better fitted if he get drafted. Some people saying that he'd be better fitted going to New Orleans. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I mean, I actually could see the fit. I
Cause
hadn't thought about it before.
cause
I can see the
they
fit,
got
though.
comparisons to Drew Brees. Like,
Yeah, I can see
you
the
know,
fit. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it before, but I can certainly see that fit. Let's jump back in the chat real quick. Matt Mike said Jake Fromm is a top 5 quarterback. He's intelligent, but he has to prove that he can throw the ball over the field. And that's fair, Matt Mike. That's fair. Um, Trey joined us. What's going on, Trey? Trey said that Fromm has also benefited from a great run game and defense in his entire career, which he has. No denying that he has, but let's not let that be a knock on him. I mean, what quarterback wouldn't want that? And what team wouldn't want that for their quarterback? But yeah, that's certainly true, Trey. Nobody could deny that. That Georgia boy says, I could be wrong, but Fromm seems like if he wins a championship, he might come back and try to win another one. Jake would probably be a 3rd round pick. Uh, I could agree with that too. That Georgia boy, I think he's a first day pick. First day pick between first and third. I know that's could be second day, but y'all know what I mean. First and second day, top 3 rounds, I should say. Top 3 rounds. Mad Mike says, I need to see him take over the game when the running game isn't working. That's my point. Okay, Mad Mike, that's fair. We haven't seen him do we haven't seen him have to do that. But I do agree. You could say the LSU game last year, so that's fair, Mad Mike. And Jonathan says, my dog bias says Jake could be mid first round, but I think he'll most likely be a very low first, high second, 28, 35. So we all thinking around the same thing. Nobody said 456, so we all
no,
thinking top.
he'll be
Um,
gone by mid second round, definitely. So
and Jonathan also says, why Don saying we? Are we known for running like he don't claim Michigan? He said you shouldn't be using the we,
look, man,
Don.
look, I'm from Georgia, okay? I'm from Georgia. Like, I'm gonna support all Georgia teams. All right, that's all Atlanta professional teams and all Georgia colleges. All right, like, yes, I am a Michigan fan. That is true. But when the rubber meets the road, and y'all in the SEC championship game or in the national championship game, I'm gonna go for UGA. You
So
know,
what you saying is you bandwagon.
I'm not
That's what it sounds
bandwagon.
like you're saying.
I'm
That's what
not.
it
I'm
sounds like
not.
it might
No,
be.
I'm not. No, I'm not bandwagon. I'm not bandwagoning. What I'm saying is I support UGA. Most of my family are UGA fans anyway. I'm the only one who's not a UGA fan.
UGA versus Michigan in the national title game. Who you got?
You already
Ooh,
know I'm
good
going
one,
for
Eric.
Michigan.
Good one, Eric. Good one,
You
Eric.
already know I'm going for Michigan.
But UJ against anybody else, you'll be on the bandwagon.
But
Moving right along.
hey,
So, Eric, how do you see the SEC East this year? What do you predict to finish? How do you think will the teams will fall in order?
Who in order?
Yeah.
Georgia
Well,
number
we,
one,
we
of course.
okay, we agree.
Um,
The number
I
two
guess
is that's the biggest question. Who
because
do we think
Florida
will finish second?
close. Like
It's talking
I
about
still
in
got
the
Florida.
East. It's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be
just talking about
Florida.
the East.
Florida's gonna be second in the East, man.
You think Florida second in the
Yeah.
East? So who is third? Is Kentucky, Tennessee, or South Carolina?
I about to say, I actually forgot about South Carolina. I think South Carolina jumps Kentucky this year. Benny Snell was a big part of their offense, and without him,
You.
I
Hmm.
think they've got a big shoes to fill.
And we're agreeing that Missouri is probably going to be bringing up the rear somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, I is anybody drinking the Tennessee Kool-Aid? Is anybody drinking the Tennessee Kool-Aid? What do
Talking
you
about
think that?
Kool-Aid? You talking about Kool-Aid with moonshine in it? No, I'm not.
Pretty much.
Some of that Tennessee whiskey.
I'm not drinking it.
What is Pruitt gonna do this year, Eric?
What is who?
Pruitt. What did Tennessee do this year? What do you think? Do they make an
I think he
improvement?
might. I think he might take a step forward. I mean, they got Cheney up there now, which I mean, if I was to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Cheney, but I mean, he improve. He can improve that offense. I don't really respect that program that much. If I was to actually be honest
Mm.
right now, because
Ooh.
I mean, until you show me something, really, I have no respect for him. Uh, Pruitt Pruitt has been basically run out of town everywhere he's gone, and now he's a head coach. So uh, they're obviously drinking the Kool Aid
Not
up in
for performance
Tennessee.
though. Not for performance though.
That's,
Yes.
that's what I was going to say, and they're
Sure.
expecting him to turn this team around. And I can't get over the fact that he can't stay in one place longer than 3 years, though.
Um, if you guys don't know a lot about Jeremy Pruitt, he is viewed as an excellent coach, an excellent defensive mind, but he can known to be a little brass. He's known to piss people off. But it depends on what side of the fence on it, because others say, hey, he's known for telling it like it is. So it's a fine line there, just which side, So but certainly he has been described as a guy who will let you know how he's feeling. Everywhere he's been, he's gotten that reputation as he's gonna let you know where he's been or how he feels.
Yeah, and if the athletic director at Tennessee can deal with that, then I think he'll have a chance to actually turn that program around. But I thought when he first got there, it's going to be at least a 3-4 year deal before you can get that thing even remotely consistent.
Does Tennessee make a bowl game?
Goodness.
What? I mean, you just need 6 wins for a bowl game. Do they get the 6 wins? Do they qualify for a bowl?
But against the SEC East, though.
Yeah, I know. So you're saying,
I say
yeah,
they
you
come
think
just
they do
up.
make a bowl?
I'll give them 5 games. I'll give them 5 wins.
Ooh, no
I
bowls.
think
They ain't got no bowl game.
So South Carolina and Florida, you guys think make bowls?
yeah.
No Kentucky in a bowl and no Missouri.
I could see that happening.
Okay. Me too.
Only way they
Me
make
too.
a bowl if they create a bowl this year, and it's called the Kohler bowl. I don't know if I
There,
know anything about Kohler, but they make toilets. So
there actually are a couple new bowls this year. So people's like, we have too many bowls, too many bowls. I think there's 3 new bowls this year, if I'm not mistaken. So
you already know now. It's 2019. Everybody got to get a participation trophy. So
yeah.
you know.
But people want to act like
Um,
New Year's Six still matters.
The New
yeah.
Year six still do matter, in my opinion. Those
I
six,
mean,
those 6 games.
my thing is, if you're playing a bowl before Christmas Day, you know, yeah, you're playing a bowl at 3 o'clock on December 18th. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, if you playing the game while fall semester is still in progress, like you missing final exams to go to the Popeyes bowl or the Church and Chicken bowl or whatever. Yeah, like yeah. I'm glad y'all get a vacation, but at the same time, like, mm, You know,
um, running back to the chat real quick. That Georgia boy says Tennessee's going to beat Tennessee, and I just got to put it out there. The reason I brought up Tennessee because I think I'm just drinking the Kool Aid a little bit. I guess I believe that Pruitt is a good coach. Pruitt is a good coach. Uh, I'm I'm interested to see what Tennessee will do this year. That's why I specifically brought them up. That Georgia boy said Tennessee good for 6 wins. That'll get him a bowl. That Georgia boy, and he also says the Dollar General Bowl game. That's a real bowl. It is. It is. Next thing you know, they had a Wayfield Bowl.
that thing gonna be so ratchet and raggedy.
It'll be Clark Atlanta versus ITT Tech. All right. What else we have on here? Eric, I wanted to ask you about the elephant in the room, and this is something that came up at SEC Media Day, of course. What do we have to do to beat Bama, and can we?
First off, we need to finish games. One thing I've noticed about Georgia going back over their games is if they didn't have a two possession lead going into the fourth quarter, they lost. The only game where that wasn't true was, well, actually, hold on. They beat Missouri with an 11-point lead going into the fourth. They beat Florida with a 9-point lead going into the fourth, but that 9 points was the closest gap where they actually won the game. They took Alabama into the fourth with a 7-point lead and ended up losing that game. They went 0 for 4 on every third down.
Yeah.
But they did not convert a single third down in the fourth quarter against Alabama. They got 0 points, while the defense allowed Alabama to go 5 for 6 on third down, score 2 touchdowns. The defense didn't get a single sack in that quarter and caused no turnovers. The simplest answer is you got to finish the game.
And my feeling on that, I'm nodding my head because I agree with you. We're getting tight in third quarter, fourth quarter. We're getting tight, man. Trust Jake. Trust Jake. Put the ball in his hands. Trust Jake. We get tight and we want to pound it. We want to pound it. We want to pound it. We take the air out of the football. I don't. I love Kirby. I don't think that was Chamey. I think that was Kirby. We get tight. I think at the end of the game, man, like make the fourth quarter look like the first quarter offensively, and it hasn't done that. We haven't done that against Bama. We didn't do that against LSU. So I think that when things get a little tight,
Y'all missing one game that we saw that I think was the most horrific game that we played last year. It wasn't the LSU game and it wasn't the Bama game. It
Texas.
was the Sugar Bowl against Texas.
Yeah.
That game right there, like that should have been an eye opener for everybody, man.
That was going to be my next example. Is actually against Texas, we went to the fourth quarter trailing just by 13, but we
Yeah.
went over 1 on third down. We scored 14 points, but we allowed them to go 2 for 4 on third down and score 8, which just put it out of
Put the game out of reach, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. So
We
I want to see us stop playing it so close to the vest at the end of the third and fourth quarter, and trust Jake and maybe him this year being that junior will assume and trust Jake to go make a play for us, and not just hoping that that off tackle play is going to break, or the little screen pass is going to break. Trust Jake. Let him throw it down the field. Trust him. That's what I
Yeah.
like to see.
And also we know what we're gonna see in Alabama, okay? As far as the defense go, offense, they're very dynamic on offense. But they got Steve Sarkisian calling plays again. We know we know about Steve Sarkisian as far as the NFL level, but we know he looks like a genius in the college level. But
Well,
I, go ahead.
I would say the thing that would be different about, Dan Quinn has pretty much told us, he says, hey, man, run the offense. Nick isn't his hands off. Hey, run the ball. hey,
Yeah.
open it up a little bit now. Nick will tell you, hey, we're keeping it on the ground now. So he'll probably have a little bit more game day direction about what he want to do. So he
Yeah.
won't just be out there. I think that'll be easier for him. Hey, you trying to figure out what to run? Nick said run this. Hey, or go to this part of the playbook. This is what we're running now. He didn't basically we're gonna limit the playbook. You're not gonna have all 100 plays right now. These are the 10, 15 we're working with.
So,
So
well, in that case, UGA is going to beat Bama this year. Then
well, I mean,
that's my prediction.
well, I hope so, but I'm saying that about Nick. It's worked for him in the past, so saying he's gonna take over, gonna make him, not score as much, But I hope so. I think the talent is the same. The talent mirrors each other. We
Yeah,
do.
I think UGA is going to end up beating Bama this year. That's just my opinion. I really feel like we're gonna be SEC champions at the end of the year. Like that's just my opinion. Far as like playoff ranking goes, I don't know how that go, but I really think we're gonna win the SEC. We're gonna win the conference this year. So
Yeah. Well, if we're in the SEC, definitely we'll assume we'll be in the playoffs. I can't. It's hard. It's hard to see a team winning the conference and not making the playoffs unless it's one of those years where they were able to get to the conference game at like a 8-4, 9-3 type,
mm.
and were able to win it. They were
and
able to beat the other team that was there.
and we don't and look at our schedule too. We don't play any like hard teams on the road. Last year, I saw that LSU lost a mile away. I said, "Oh man, we got to go to Baton Rouge." I said, "Yeah, we're going to end up losing that game." I got a lot of heat from it from a lot of people, including my friend, who's also a diehard UGA fan. He texted me right now telling me about UGA. Matter of fact, this is what he just sent me. He said SEC East. He says UGA, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Vandy, and Missouri in that order. That's going to win that division. And he said in the West, he says Bama, LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Arkansas in that order. So yeah, you're going to have UGA, Bama in the SEC championship game, and my prediction is UGA is going to beat Bama. They're gonna Kirby. Kirby. I'm pretty sure Kirby's gonna have a lot of film and a lot of. I'm pretty sure he's gonna studied a lot this off season on how to finish games, especially against high ranked teams. So I'm pretty sure he
Well,
did his homework this off season.
So we can use that to segue into the next little topic. How do you think the change? Because we have two new coordinators this year. Our defense coordinator Mel Tucker is at Colorado State right now, he's becoming the head coach, and our offensive coordinator last year, Jim Chaney, is now the offensive coordinator in Tennessee. So now we have Dan Lanning taking over for the defense, and we have uh, Coach Coley uh, taking over for the offense. How do you think the new coordinators? Do you think there will be a big change? How do you think that the team will adjust? What do you think about that, John? Eric, I'm sorry.
one of the first things that I noticed when I was looking at Lanning was that he improves tackles for loss, sacks, pass defense, pass intercepted. He improves a lot with turnovers and stuff of that nature. Sacks, especially, is something that I've been looking at. Last year, going back to talking about the fourth quarter, last year Georgia only had 7 sacks in the fourth quarter the entire year. Sacks is something that we didn't see consistently enough last year. Um, Basically, Walker was our only guy. This year with Nolan Smith and Jermaine Johnson, I expect that to be very different. I expect to have a consistent pass rush on every down, or at least every other down this year.
About Robert
Especially with
Bell.
landing,
Yeah.
well, especially with landing there, and especially with this new influx of talent. Coley, the one thing I've noticed from Coley already from G Day is he wants to get running backs involved in the passing game, and that's something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I think that'll be good though.
I think that would be good because I'm not I'm not sure about how Zeus catches the ball out of the backfield, but we know DeAndre Swift is an excellent receiver, and James Cook. We know that you guys may know, but they rave about James Cooks. pass catching ability as well. You guys, they say James Cook could be a receiver if he chose that route. So I do know that. One thing I know about Coley, I know he likes to throw the football, and I'm interested to see because they've alluded to that we'll throw it a little more. So I'm interested to see how the dynamic will work with him wanting to throw the ball more versus I know Kirby's philosophy, especially once we get to the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So I'm very interested to see how much the ball is going to go in the air later in the game, when there's still a ball game, winning by 30, 40 points, not. But, we're talking about a 10-point or less ball game. I'm very interested to see how much we're going to throw the ball late in the game. With the defensive coordinator, we know Kirby's the defensive guy. We know Kirby loves defense. He still studies. He deals whatever. So I trust Kirby, so I'm not worried about landing as much because I believe if he starts to go by the wayside, Kirby's going to do the Dan Quinn anyway and be like, hey, man, watch out. I got it. So I'm not expecting, I really don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a smooth transition, pretty much. I think we're going to have a smooth transition, and at least I'm hoping so. We head back to the chat real quick. That Georgia boy said they do have a wishbowl game, and man, Mike, go back to Georgia Tech. He said Georgia Tech, I have my eyes on. I hate to see what Paul Johnson did to them.
We all did, man. He
And
overstayed.
Paul
He
Johnson was
overstayed his
a
welcome.
coach.
He overstayed his welcome. The man only had one good season, and that was in
Paul
2012.
coach. He Paul Johnson won way more games at Tech than you think. I'm telling you,
He
he
did. He
won.
won. He won some games, but they had one
It's just
great
the
season. I'm talking
style.
about great season. They had one great season. They made the Orange Bowl in 2012,
Yep.
and they beat the brakes out of Mississippi State. I remember that game.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. You know. I the thing about DePaul, it just wasn't flashy, and in Atlanta, a college football mecca where a lot of eyes are. You talking about a team that's downtown Atlanta. It just turned people off. But the man won, and the offense actually put up points. It just wasn't what people were used to. But he won a lot of games, and Paul Johnson scored a lot of points. All right. I got a text question while we were on. Question about the fans. Um, Dan Lanning, do you think Eric this year now with the influx now of the pass rush that we have now, do you think that we'll be less of a blitzing team because possibly we can get there with just the four guys or our four rush? What are your thoughts on that?
I think to start off with, they probably will try to blitz because even though Nolan Smith's a 5 star, you got Jermaine Johnson. I think he was a 4 or 5 star. Um, I think they still want to see see it on the field before they just say, okay, y'all can do it. So even though we expect them to be able to bring pressure with just four, or even in the base defense, just bringing the outside linebackers, I think it's going to be something that the first couple of games is going to tell them whether or not they're going to have to blitz or not.
Yeah, that's good. I'm very interested to see because we talked about Nolan and Jermaine, but we still have Brenton Cox there. We still have Bill there. So we certainly have some guys that we think can rush the passer. I'm very interested to see who we're going to bring off the edge and what kind of pressure we're going to create. And I'm interested to see who's going to be that guy in the middle. Who's going to be that defensive tackle to step up because that's considered the weak point on the defense. What do you think? Who do you see emerging and can be the steady guy there?
Now, are you talking about like in the nickel with a 4-man front, or are you talking about like the nose tackle?
The nose tackle.
I'm thinking Rochester would be that guy.
I mean,
Uh,
he has to step up. He has to step up. we've recruited. We have some young guys coming in there. Tyler Clark showed some flashes last year. Of course, he's not a nose tackle, but we talk about interior push. We have to have a guy besides Tyler Clark that shows that he can get some push there. And like I said, Rochester has to be that guy. He has to step up and be that anchor this year.
Is Harry playing inside on the 4-man?
Um, I don't think he goes inside. I think Malik Herring. I think he stays like a 4-eye. I don't think he slides inside. And I like Malik Herring a lot. He shows a lot. But I I think Malik Herring is I don't think he's a 300 pounder. So I don't think he goes inside as
That's
much
why.
because yeah I think
Yeah,
Malik
that's what I
Herring
was
is like
asking.
a 275, 280 guy. So I don't think he slides inside as much.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I wasn't sure of. But yeah,
Yeah, but
that's the guy that gets
I
the
like
rush of
Malik
the
Herring a lot. My next question to you, Eric, was going to be who's a guy who's a guy that everybody doesn't know their name now, but by the season, everybody will know their name.
Oh, I've had this in the back of my head for a while. I would expect everybody to know his name, but he's not as heralded as other guys. I think Charlie Warner is actually a sleeper on this team for this.
Ooh, okay. I like Charlie Warner a lot. He's been a guy that if you follow, you watch, you know that he's been a great blocker for us. He's been a great blocker for us, and he can really catch the football as well. He just hadn't had as many opportunities, but that's a very good. Charlie Warner's going to play in the NFL, so everybody doesn't know him, but he's a guy he's a tight end for Georgia. He's going to play in the NFL.
I think we missed him in
Um,
2015 against Alabama.
oh yeah, well, what was that? The broken leg, right? In the that was the broken leg when he went down with
Yeah,
the broken leg. Yeah, certainly missed it. But Charlie Warner is a great blocker, and he can also catch the football. He's definitely, like I said, going to play in the NFL. He's going to be one of those guys that 5-6 years down in the NFL, people gonna be like, he played at Georgia. I don't remember him. Yeah, he was at Georgia. And he was good as well. You know about Isaac Nada, and he just has the ball as well. When we talk about running back, there's tight ends blocking as well, and Charlie Warner is a great blocker. And like I say, he's a great pass catcher as well. He just hadn't had the opportunities. Um, my guy is James Cook. James Cook. I think James Cook is electrifying. He just needs some touches. Dalvin Cook's little brother. I think at the end of the year, James Cook is going to be what people saw flashes of Swift his freshman year. So I believe by the end of the year, everybody's gonna be like, "Hey man, we're excited for this guy next year." So I believe by the end of the year, everybody will know about number 6. And all right, so final question, and you pretty much said we've all pretty much given our predictions, but come come the end of the season, Eric, where will we end up?
2 years ago, I called 2019 the year we get the national title, so I'm not coming off of that.
I had the same prediction. I had the same prediction. It's gonna be tough though.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
be
just
tough.
say SEC champs. For as because you don't know how the rankings gonna fall. You got to think about it. There are other good schools. Clemson. You know, Clemson's gonna be there somehow. Even if we do beat Alabama, then they're gonna still try to put them in there somehow, some type of way. I think Texas. A lot of people talking about Oklahoma. I really think Texas is a school that's gonna probably shock everybody this year.
I don't believe in Texas yet. They got to show me. I'm sorry.
They're
I
gonna show you
believe
this year.
Tommy
I'm telling
Herman
you.
is a good coach. Yeah, but
They're gonna show.
you
They're
know
gonna,
he
they're gonna show you this year, man. I'm telling you. But Big Ten, like yes, I'm a Michigan fan, but I don't really see us really
he's gonna
making
be
that much noise, man. I'll be happy we beat Ohio State. We beat Ohio State, we good. But you still got Ohio State. You still got Northwestern. That's another team everybody need to look out for. All right, they got some good. They got some great um, defensive players on their team. And who else? Pac-12. You know, Pac-12 is loaded too. So.
I believe Oregon will be much better this year. Oregon, still not. I'm not a believer in USC. I still believe Ohio State will be strong. Texas has to show me. I believe Penn State will be strong as well. Um, and Michigan, like I said, y'all have to beat Ohio State
Yeah,
first.
if we could just beat Ohio State, man, I'd be happy. I don't really look. I really don't care about a bowl this year. I know we always going to get a good bowl, but if we can just beat Ohio State, I'm just getting sick and tired of us just every single year just keep losing to Ohio State. If we can just beat Ohio State, I'd be happy. That'd be my national championship right there.
Eric,
I don't know if I
who's
said
that? Eric, who's of those who what are those schools on Saturday that you love to see lose?
Love to see lose.
Yes.
Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, um, Georgia Tech.
For me,
I mean, you pretty much say the whole entire SEC for me. I'm not an SEC fan.
okay. For me, teams I love to see lose on Saturday. I love to see Ohio State lose. I love to see Oklahoma lose. I love to see Notre Dame lose. I love to see Tennessee lose. Those teams always make me smile when I turn on the highlights and see they're losing. Those teams always bring a smile. USC too. I like to see USC losing too.
I like to see Ohio State lose. I would like to see them just wiped off the face of this earth. To be honest with you, but anyway. But Michigan State, I love to see them. I love to see them lose. I love to see Penn State lose. I love to see Bama lose, which they don't normally do that much. Um, yeah, exactly.
I don't dislike Bama, man. I gotta admit, I don't dislike Bama. I also have to admit, man. I know y'all gonna blast me off here. Like, I don't hate Florida. I don't hate South Carolina. I don't like Tennessee, but I don't hate Florida. I don't hate South Carolina. I yeah, I don't, I don't,
I
I don't.
hate Florida this year. They beat Michigan bad in the Peach Bowl. Yeah. Other than that, like I, it doesn't matter to me. Far as like only team I don't like in the SEC is pretty much Bama because it's the fan base, man. It's just really the fan
Oh,
base.
they snobbish, man. Oh yeah, they super snobbish. Yeah, but I gotta admit, man, I don't dislike Alabama. I don't. So I gotta admit, I don't dislike Nick Saban. I don't dislike Alabama. I
It's,
want them to
it's just the
lose.
fan base. I don't like
Yeah,
Alabama fan base.
I certainly want them to lose when they're playing UGA. But like I want it pretty much. I'm usually wanting Bama to win. Actually, when they're not playing UGA, like when they're playing Clemson, when they play Notre Dame, the other teams they played, in the other when they were playing Ohio State, of course, obviously, I would want Ohio State to lose. So I'm
Yes.
usually rooting for Bama. So I have to admit that I don't hate Bama. So look, curveball. This one last question here. We know thou shall never have two teams. We don't allow that. But who's a couple teams that you don't mind seeing win on Saturday? It's out of conference, out of conference. Eric, what about you, Don?
Oh. Well, outside of SEC
Hmm.
and outside of my favorite school, Michigan, I like to see Miami win. You know,
Yep.
yeah, I love to see them win. It just the swagger they always had.
Exactly.
The you like I really like Miami.
Yeah.
As a team, but I don't know what they're gonna look like now under the new coach, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna try. You know, they're gonna try to do something this year. So because they still got the same players coming back. It just last year, I just think Mark Rick he wasn't in his right mind to coach.
Um, Miami was one for me as well. I don't think they count because they're hometown, so I think they automatically win. Georgia Southern. but I don't think that counts. I think most people like Georgia Southern root for them.
Yeah,
But Miami,
I'm looking outside of the state of Georgia, outside of
yeah,
the state
yeah.
of Georgia and my own fan base. So
Miami, and Florida State for me. Miami and Florida State are two teams that I don't mind seeing get a W on Saturday. Um, LSU, LSU. I know that's still within the conference for some reason. I've always like it's something about Death Valley. It's something about Death Valley and the night games at Death Valley. I've always just so I don't mind seeing. And I know this will make you upset, Don. And I'm not saying it just to troll you, but Michigan State, and I don't even know why. I have no idea why, but I don't mind seeing Michigan State get a win on Saturdays, and I have no idea why. No idea why. Just I I kind of like Michigan State, and I have no idea why. No idea.
uh, that crack at it school. Anyway,
All right, and we'll circle back through the chat real quick. That Georgia boy says he sees Georgia as SEC champs plus national champs. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. And Trey said, "Y'all don't sleep on the game at Auburn. It will be tough. Auburn will be tough. I mean, Georgia this year has, we know we got Auburn, we know we got Florida, we know we got the SEC, but East, but we also have Texas A&M and Notre Dame this year. So I mean, we have some tough games. Uh, Notre Dame is probably Notre Dame and Ohio State are my least favorite college football team. So man, like if there's any game I want to win this year, Notre Dame is the one game that I don't want to lose. I'll put it like that. There's one game I don't want to lose this year. Is Notre Dame. Please let's kick the crap out of them at in Sanford Stadium. And you did you get any other questions from the fans, Don?
no, I didn't get
Yeah.
anything. That was
All right.
everything was in the chat. So
All right.
I
You
don't know
got
what Eric ran off to, but thank you, Eric, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
he was very
I know
knowledgeable.
we'll
He was
talk
super
soon.
knowledgeable.
What you say?
He was super knowledgeable. He was
Yes.
super knowledgeable. Hey, you come on our show and you're supposed to be an expert, we gonna know because we be knowing. So
Oh,
when I
he's an
throw names
expert.
out there and you don't know, yeah, oh no, he was super knowledgeable. You can tell he knew his stuff.
Yeah.
He wasn't just
He,
slick. He knew his stuff.
yeah, he's an expert. I think he's a writer for Dawn of the Dog. It's a fan sided page for Georgia Bulldogs content. So he's very knowledgeable. So on that note, we'll go ahead and end our show. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and also share this content with other Atlanta sports fanatics. If you're watching this video at a later time, please hit us up in the comment section and we'll get back with your comments. And also hit that like button. I really appreciate y'all joining us tonight. As always,
Come holler.
at your hometown sports podcast. We're gonna be back next week. We're gonna talk about the first week of training camp for the Atlanta Falcons. So, and we may come back sometime this week and talk about either Georgia Tech football or any other big news that may come out. Julio Jones contract. I think that may happen sometime this week. So guys, just stay tuned. We're gonna we always gonna be here for y'all for the hometown followers. So on that note, we'll see y'all next week or earlier this week. So y'all be good.